Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and this is part two of my February plan with me. So let's jump right in. I did have to cut this into two parts simply because it took me longer than I thought it would to make it. And then when I was trying to cut down the footage, I felt like two videos just kind of made more sense. So we're going to jump into the last three layouts of February because I did do 5 weeks as I kind of explained in the last video. And the layouts are the exact same. Every page has the same 6 boxes on it of the same size. It just kind of alternates. And I'm just going to quickly show you this page just because it's the beginning of this video. So this is your first video with me. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Bullet journaling is very new to me, so bear with me. And if you have any tips or tricks for your bullet journal, please let me know because as I said, this is just my second spread ever. So I'm still very new to the idea of bullet journaling. And I would love to hear any kind of thoughts or tips you have for me. I've had a couple of conversations really interesting about this, and it's funny because I know I start my week on a Sunday because that's how the weeks start in the calendar in Canada. And I know that I believe in Europe they start on Monday, so it's really interesting to hear comments from people about how they lay out their stuff differently just because of how the calendar lays out for them in their country. So I find that really interesting. But I will be starting every week on a Sunday because that is, as I said, how my calendar works. And as I work a shift work job, it just makes sense for me to follow the calendar as is. So that is how I will do. And if you watch the first video, you will have seen me make a mistake and try to start my week on a Monday and then fix it. I don't make that mistake again, so it's kind of funny, but I will be doing all of my weeks starting on the Sunday, going to the Saturday, and then having like a little to-do. So the to-do box could instead be like notes or, whatever you feel you need. I did to-do just because I thought that it was a little bit different, but it could be notes or it could be like stuff accomplished this week or anything like that. I made it a to-do list in this set of layouts. So anything would work there in that one. And in this one, I'm only going to do a quote on this first page. I'm actually going to do a little bit of extra art boxes in the last two layouts just because I was having fun with some pattern paper and some cut aparts that I own. We'll get into that when we get there, but every layout will have like my mini calendar, which is what I'm putting in right now, and then the 6 boxes per page. 7 of which is dedicated to the days of the week, and then a few extra, like there's a couple art boxes, like one in this setup, there's a quote box, and in the last 2 there was as well. And I did end up smudging the week that I highlight kind of in the mini calendar. On each spread, I went in and I kind of go across the mini calendar just to indicate what week we're in, and I found that it smudged my pen. And I waited, because I learned from the first, when I did January setup, when I smudged a bunch of things because I was impatient, I did learn that, you kind of had to be a little more patient with it. And yet I still managed to smudge this. So I don't know if it's just because the Tombow is water-based and the Muji pen just kind of reacts to that. So I have to try out different pens and get a little more experience, but you won't really see it. I don't think that I remember to record me highlighting the week necessarily, but I do it in every week setup that I've done. And I think that I'm going to continue to repeat weeks. I had a conversation in my last video, and I did read your guys' comment. I haven't had a chance to answer them all yet, but I did read them. And I saw some people answer about how they repeat the week in their journal as well, or you just kind of lay out the month as is. So I think I'm going to continue doing that for this bullet journal and see how I feel about it, just because I've already been doing it. And then I will look at changing that up maybe in the future bullet journals. But so every layout is the exact same. It's just the materials that I kind of bring in that are very different. So for the gray that I just used, and I do the same gray boxes, it's like a drop shadow on all the boxes. I just think it adds a little more life to the box, so I kind of like how that looks. And that's the N52 Tombow marker. And then I just brought in right there, that's kind of a icy blue color. It's the 291 Tombow marker. I don't know the names because on the pen it just has the numbers. I do see the names when I actually link to the product, but usually I do that after I've already done the video, so I don't always know what the names are. But everything I use is linked and listed down below. And then for these art boxes, instead of filling them with washi tape like I did the last ones, I actually chose to kind of cut out, in this case, I used old book page because I just thought it was really cool. I love old book pages. One of my favorite things ever is receiving them in my pen pal letters because sometimes they're in different languages, which is just really neat. This one is English, but I have received other languages in pen pal letters, which I love. It's so fun. And then I just kind of measured out, I made a little template of the size of the boxes so that I could easily cut out a few things because I am going to do this kind of effect on the next 2 pages as well, where I just cut out something that fits in the art box. Now, of course, you could draw, I don't know about paint, this paper is very thin, but you could draw, you could, bring in markers, there's a lot of things you could do. I just kind of chose to do a bit of a collage style. I think as I warm up to the idea of bullet journaling, I will start actually drawing some of this stuff myself, but for now, I'm kind of just working with what I have and kind of feeling it out because it is a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. I've never bullet journaled before, so finding layouts and coming up with ideas. And I look at Instagram, I look at Pinterest, I pull up YouTube videos. Like I've gotten so much inspiration from different creators that I don't know exactly what layout comes from where. So I do have, in my January video, I linked a whole bunch of creators that I found really inspiring in the bullet journal world that I watch on a regular basis. So if you want to check those out, head back to my January video. But I just kind of worked through what I have. So on this one, I used a lot of those same Ikigai Papir stickers from the advent calendar that I did shorts on. And that's kind of what I used to decorate this page. And then the quote for this one was, "Take the risk or lose the chance." And that's very, it applies, again, like I said to you guys in the last video, if you watched it, the quotes are very personal to me, obviously. And I have some news coming up. I'm not quite ready to share it yet, but I will share it in a future video. I'm going to have a sit down chat with you guys and just let you know what I'm thinking and what my plans for the channel are for this year, a few different things. And so these quotes are very specific to kind of what I have going on in my little world at the moment. So keep that in mind as you read those quotes, but you'll understand why they are what they are here in a little bit. But yeah, so on this one, I actually decided to put the shadows in first, which is what I should have been doing in all of them. So I'm not trying to go around stickers, but again, it's kind of like a learning process. So I did go around them all just on the one side again with that shadow, just to kind of give the box a little more depth. And then I'm going to bring in a different color for this one. I believe this one I used pink for the lines in the boxes because this pattern paper and the cutouts that I'm going to bring in have a little pink to them. So this is the end of my letter stickers. If you guys watched my first video for this, part 1, I talked about how I didn't quite buy enough lettering stickers, like of the week, the days of the week. I only had 4 weeks worth, and as I said, I kind of repeated a week, so I have 5 weeks in February. So I don't have quite enough letter stickers, and you're going to see, word stickers, and you're going to see what I do about that in the next layout, because the next one will be, of course, the one that doesn't have those. But I think that it comes out really well and still matches in the end, so I'm not too concerned about it, but it is going to be slightly different. And if you have a favorite layout of these, I would love to know which one it is. I know that they're all the same layout, but if you like the art better in one of them, I would love to know which one it is. I believe this one turned out to be my favorite, but I asked my husband, and he actually picked the next layout that I'm going to do. So the one that you haven't seen yet. And I think it's just because of the colors that are involved in it. But so I brought in, this is the template that I did of the boxes that I have in the journal so that I can kind of easily cut out. And yes, I have a cup of tea now. This took me a couple of days to do these videos. So I have a cup of tea here, but this paper is the Alchemy of Art Steampunk Dreams, and I also have the cut aparts that go with that set. So I cut that out so that I could easily just kind of layer the boxes in, and then that would kind of act as the base of what I wanted the colors to be. And it is a very green orangey color, like it because I was still trying to keep in that green and orange shades, because that's what I'm working with as kind of the overall feel of the whole month. But I chose to kind of bring in pattern papers and do something slightly different with these, because I kind of, not that I mean, I have stickers, but I didn't have any really orangey stickers anymore. So, because as I said in the second layout, I had to kind of scrounge to find orange themed things. Apparently orange is not a color I tend to purchase, so I don't have much in that vein. And now you could go and get digital downloads and download things that were in that color, but I was trying really hard to use things that I already own, because I do own a decent amount of stationery, and you guys know that I am a firm believer of using what you have. So I went through my stash and I kind of found different papers that I thought would work really well for this. And now these cut aparts, these come in a big sheet. It's 6x8, I believe, and I cut them out myself. They don't come pre-cut, so I just fussy cut them myself. And I like to add a little white border because it feels like a sticker that way to me, which kind of still feels like it matches what we've already done in the last set of layouts, because the stickers there have a little border. But I cut out just a couple of cut aparts, and this is the same, it's the same Steampunk Dreams cut aparts. And I did link them down below. I don't have an affiliate link for this. It's just a company that I love, and their papers are phenomenal. So I like to purchase them, but I don't, like, I've linked you to their actual website, and I believe they're in Poland. So I believe their website's actually in Polish. So I can't read what it says, so I've just linked it for you so you can check it out, and then maybe find a local retailer that can bring them in or whatnot for you. Because my local scrapbookie store, I spend quite a bit of time with them. They bring these papers in for me, so I'm able to support my local crafty people and purchase some stunning papers that are newer. I think they're newer to the market that I can see. They might not be new to the market, but my local people have brought it in, and they're newer to me. So that pink Tombow was 761. And I also brought in some vellum leaves that I just tucked here and there. You can't really see them well there, but I did bring them in, and I think that they looked really quite pretty. So I just added a little bit of something extra into the layout. And then the color I'm going to use for this layout is more of a beigey color, and it's 910 in the Tombow world. And as I said, all the Tombows are linked and listed down below, so if you're interested. And the Tombow markers are linked to Blick, which is a website. I've actually shopped in the physical store in Seattle before. So Seattle, Washington is in the States if you're in Europe or whatever. But I have actually physically shopped in their store, and I have physically shopped online from them. So I would never sell you guys on somebody I didn't trust as a brand. So I have had questions about Blick before, and I've actually bought some of my Copics from there as well. But yeah, I would never link to a brand that I have not personally shopped from and or have experienced with that was, a good experience. So if you ever have that concern, just be aware that I only link to stores that I have physically purchased from, or I have shopped online with, like Simon or Scrapbook. Scrapbook Pal is another one. I actually am on their design team as well, and I shop from their store fairly often. So any shop that I link to, it's a shop that I have purchased from. So don't ever be concerned about that. I would never, link to a store that I don't trust, because I'm very weary of online shopping that way. So I try to be very conscientious of being, with stores that are trustworthy. So if you ever have that question, I promise that it is a store that I have myself purchased from. But yeah, so this is the beige that I kind of brought into this one. And this is because at this point, I'm actually going to use a different card pattern paper for this. This one, you haven't seen it yet, but the one that I bring in for kind of the art of this is from the Alchemy of Art Legends of the Magic School. And it's another beautiful pattern paper and cut aparts. You'll see the cut aparts here as we get a little further in. And they're just so, so pretty. I love how these turned out. This, as I said, was my husband's favorite layout of them. I'm not sure why he preferred this one, but he did choose this one himself. And of course, I chose the last one just because it had a little pink in it. And pink and purple are pretty much my favorite colors. So I do tend to be more drawn to those. And then this is kind of how I got around the fact that I didn't have any more word stickers, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I went around this by using these alphabet stickers that I got in the advent calendar as well. And luckily, because I had the 2 sheets, I was able to do all 7 days in full. Otherwise, you might just do like Mon, Tues, Wens, like that kind of thing. But I was able to do the whole day, like the whole word. But you have to think that that means that I'm doing, 7 days. And you might not have enough stickers. So luckily I had 2 sheets, so I was able to do all of the letters for each. But I did run out of like D's, A's, Y's. I didn't have any of those left after this, but that's okay. I think that this turned out really well, and I love that it matches everything because it's the same color palette that I already have going on from the other ones. So I hope that they all kind of tie well together because I did use the exact same colors. So hopefully you guys kind of get that feel. We'll do a full flip through of February when we get to the end of this video, so you can check out all of the spreads. But I think that they turned out pretty great. I'm pretty excited about how these ones came together. And it's really fun kind of pondering what I want to do and how to lay it out. So I've been having fun with that. But here is where I've cut. So I just took a sheet of the 12 by 12 cardstock or pattern paper out of my set of the Legends of Magic School from Art of Alchemy, and then I've kind of laid them out how I want them in the boxes. Because there's 3, as I said, I didn't do a quote box in these last 2. So I made 3 little art boxes instead. And then I had a bunch of feathers in this set. So I just fussy cut. This is all me fussy cut. These don't come pre-cut. You cut them out yourself. But I cut out a bunch of these little feathers and kind of added them around the page too, just for a little bit of added interest because I thought it was kind of fun. And I did leave that little white border as well, as I said, because I just like how that looks. And I'm using my art glitter glue for everything in this just because it has that fine tip. So because I'm doing such small glued areas, I just kind of used that as how I wanted to glue everything. And hopefully the audio is okay on this video. As I said to you guys last week, or on Monday, sorry, I am traveling, so I'm using my AirPods to kind of do these voiceovers, so hopefully they sound okay and you can hear me no problem. But yeah, so this is kind of how this spread came together. As I said, they're all the same but different, so hopefully they feel fairly cohesive, but not, cookie cutter the same, because that's kind of what my aim was. I wanted them all to be different, but similar. So they felt like they all went together in the month, but they were just, laid out, or not laid out differently. They're all the same exact layout. It's just that everything shifts. So I think I did 2 weeks where Sunday started in the top left corner, and then the rest of the 3 weeks start where Sunday starts in the middle and then kind of goes over. And then here I just wanted to add a little bit of more bling because you guys know I love shimmer and shine. So I just added a couple of silver sparkles across the page just to add a little bit of something extra, just because I felt that it needed a little bit of extra bling. And of course this will be completely filled in once I actually get to using it in February, because of course we're still in January at the moment. But here I'll give you a look at the 3 layouts that I just finished. And that kind of can give you an idea of what I was aiming for, and hopefully, you can see quite what I was talking about. There are the little vellum leaves behind the hat at the top and the butterfly in the middle there. And then this layout here kind of just has some fun, different writing utensils, really like a little book, a little typewriter, a little pen. And then here is the full flip through of February, all set up and ready to go to be used. So I have my monthly calendar, my cover page, and then the 5 weeks of setup. So you can kind of check them out. I love how this came together. I think that it was a bit stressful for me because it's something I'm not used to. So it was a little bit stressful to kind of put it together. But once it's together, I love it. I think that it turned out really cool. Do you have a favorite layout? I would love to know, art-wise based. Any of these your favorite? As I said, I'm pretty sure that the next layout is my favorite personally, just because it kind of involved a little bit of pink, and I do like pink myself. I'm quite drawn to it. But I would love to hear if you have a favorite, because it's always really interesting to me what would signify your favorite. And then, of course, this is the last one for this month. So February is complete. We finished another spread, so I think that's pretty successful because I wasn't sure how well this was going to go, but I think that it's going pretty well. So let me know if you have a favorite. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.